VPPRs unite, comrades. Let us unite and get to see how we can help each other. And before that, there was we were identifying which day did we have based on these cat emojis. I think my cat emoji is number 6. I'm still trying to figure out what's happening today. So please keep sharing in the chat what is going on in your life and your club names. You can even rename yourself so we can see your club name, we can see your PR superpower, and even put on the chat some of the challenges you're having in this role. We'll be very happy to engage. So the reason that I wanted to engage today is just to remind us why PR is important. A lot of articles have been written on how PR is the heart and soul of any organization. And for Toastmasters, it's the same. For those of us who have already attended the trainings, the club officer trainings, and I hope everyone here has, I think we reiterated that for you to have taken up this role, it is such an important role. It goes beyond creating posters. And I know some people who are very creative, like Kevin, who say that's his superpower. This might be a very easy thing to do. But over and above that, our 3 goals, just as a reminder, is to attract guests to Toastmasters and retain current members, to generate awesome content for and about your club, and to increase awareness about Toastmasters International and its mission. And the reason these 3 things work together in tandem is because without PR, without helping people to understand what Toastmasters is, starting from goal number 3, then there's a very big disconnect on why they should pay their membership, on why they should continue to deliver their speeches, on, what is really the essence of then being part of this community. So these 3 things work together to help us to elevate the profile of Toastmasters, as well as remind our club members why they need to continue doing their speeches and why they need to continue paying for their membership. So that is our work as the PR docket. And like I said, we are the heart and soul of each and every club that we represent. And therefore, I think what Kevin said is very important. We must be able to really dig deep and get all the resources that have been created for us. And today, in this specific session, we'll be able to ask ourselves, do we know all the resources that are available to us in the PR docket? Those who are learning, do we know where to find things? And those of us who have already figured everything out, can we share and help each other to grow? So please, if there are any questions, feel free to discuss. Feel free to, yeah, I can see some things happening there in the chat, and Wamboy will help me to just, if there's any question that's there that I need to address, I'll be happy to address. Just a little bit about myself. I currently serving as the district PR manager. And what that means is I am a VPPR at the district level. And one of my number 1 roles is to ensure that I help each and every VPPR at the club level so that they can be able to deliver for each member and each non-Toastmaster or potential Toastmaster joining. They're able to, to help fulfill this first goal. Ensure that they can attract guests and ensure that we can retain members. So my goal here is to really help you. That is the one thing that I have completely summarized my purpose in life for. On a professional level, I run a PR firm called Brandsburg PR, And I've been in corporate communications for the last 20 years, 24 years actually. I know my genes don't do me any justice. And I've been a member of Anchor Toastmasters for the last 6 years. Anchor Toastmasters is in Nairobi, and I've served in several roles there. So I completely understand how in every club it is so important to equip each officer to deliver on their role. And so at the district level, as much as, yes, I'm supposed to also help clubs to ensure that each VPPR is delivering on their role, I'm also there to help the district, which is the 10 countries that make up District 114. Help me, Tracy or Wamboy. The clubs that are in District 114, which are over 75 clubs, to be known, and also for Toastmasters to be known within the region so that we can plant even more Toastmasters clubs. So that's a little bit about me. As I said, our role is really to create awareness about Toastmasters. And the three tools that we have are our social media platforms, our website, our newsletters. There's several others. Is there anyone who can put on the chat some tools they use? I know the biggest one that we haven't added here. Uh, Okay, so WhatsApp is a big one. We've been having a big argument on whether we're using WhatsApp in the very best way, because there's been so much content being shared on our WhatsApp platforms, and sometimes it becomes like wallpaper. And we keep asking ourselves, are we really sharing this information internally to the Toastmasters people, to the Toastmasters members, or are we also really using our social media to attract guests to the club? And that's why this is the big word there. Are we attracting guests to clubs? And I'll tell you why this is important. In our last district director's address, which was held last Thursday, we had a really big, almost scales falling off our eyes when the district director, DTM Robert Karanja, was able to really paint this picture on how many clubs are needed for us to continue being in good standing. I'm sure all of us now know what it means to be in good standing. A Toastmasters club must have a minimum of 20 members. And the same way that in the club level, we have these definitions of how many clubs, how many members must exist. In every district, there's a certain number of clubs that must exist for us to be called a district. So this year, in 2024, 2025, the district director told us that we need 39 new clubs in District 114 to be able to retain our status as a district. And this is how they were broken down. In Mombasa, we need 10 new clubs. In Division D, we need 9 new clubs. In Tanzania, we need 6 new clubs. In Ethiopia, 4. In Division C, 1. And in Rwanda, 9. And this is a daunting task, obviously, but working together as a community, it is possible. There are already clubs that have started, as you heard in Tanzania. There's a new club that has been chartered, and there are people who are going out to really help the growth of clubs in every of these areas. However, we really need to ensure that we're upping our games as VPPRs to ensure that when people inquire about clubs in Mombasa, clubs in Rwanda, clubs in Tanzania, in Ethiopia, there's already some information that has been put out, either on our social media platforms or on our websites, or even on other platforms like LinkedIn, and that's part of social media. So the questions we're asking ourselves today is, as VPPRs, do we feel prepared to take up this challenge to help the district to ensure that 39 new clubs are planted? So you can put your comments in the chat. Now, to help me kind of put all this in a bow, I want to invite Tracy. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Tracy, please unmute and
Hi, how are you? I thought you were writing. Oh,
oops.
have I frozen?
No,
Have
you're
I
not
frozen?
frozen.
Okay.
No, wait, you're not frozen. There's a lot of somebody introduced you with a song, which is really good.
That is so cute. I'm so sorry I missed it. All right.
Okay, so Tracy, please tell us about yourself and tell us about your experience as VPPR so far.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tracy Mamu. I am the VPPR of SEMA Toastmasters. I'm 2 years old, 2 months old, really. It really feels like 2 years at this point. When I first entered into this role, I want to say I was excited and I didn't really realize what was awaiting me. But if I could only pull up my first poster, you could tell my enthusiasm for the role. Mm, yeah, as I have been designing and learning about my role using Canva, interacting with everything, I am finding the role, I don't know, I've seen a couple of people saying how Canva is a bit daunting, and I can really feel you. But hopefully, as you go along, we can discuss more about it. My superpower is asking for help. I am that the call a friend, tap on the line kind of person. So yeah, I hope that answers everything.
Yes, it actually does. And I think you being a Toastmaster for the last 2 months and already taking up a role as an officer is, did you say 2 years or 2 months?
I'm almost 2 years old, but I'm a VPPR 2 months. It feels like 2 years.
I hear, I feel the difference. So you've been a Toastmaster for 2 years, but obviously, as VPPR, you've just taken up the role. And I think in terms of your experience, and like you said, if you could show us your first poster and the posters that you're doing, and your overview of interacting with Canva, what are some of those things that you've learned so far? You say that your first poster and your now poster 2 months later, there's a bit of difference. So what are some of those differences, and how did you evolve, so to speak?
Well, my experience so far was like the first poster. I was excited in that I was cramming too many ideas into one poster. And in as much as it did get a good result, people did manage to flock our group meeting in large numbers. That whole idea of trying to cram everything in one poster made the poster look a bit too busy. I was trying to do too much in opposed to now the mentorship I was able to get. I am able to just simply focus on just one idea. The second thing is I was able to find places where I can get simple and easy resources. I don't know if we are able to find it. There was a template guide for Canva that was shared around. So whenever in doubt, I just tap into one of those posters and shift it around. The second thing, if I can just show you, Just share my screen. One of the places that has really helped. Sorry, my thing is not loading here. Hold on, let me just move this out of the way. Was in the Toastmasters brand portal. In our introduction to our roles, I forget his name. He introduced this part of the portal, the section called resources, and how you can be able to get images and trademarks and stuff like that, including the manual. So having things like this really helped me, because I believe my first poster, I don't know if it was yellow or blue, but that was one of the mistakes that I am now learning. There are things like the Toastmasters logo, the colors, and how they're supposed to be placed. These are all okay. I believe my first logo was really crammed to the corner. If I can just, like, this is okay. This is a logo that is okay, as opposed to, I think when I first started, I had one that I think I used this one, and that was not allowed. I didn't know at the time until someone had to help and point it out to me. Knowing and understanding the brand colors was really a help. Like, this is okay, this is okay. My first poster was not this blue. It was really flagged by people. You can use these as backgrounds, but never black or yellow. These are things I'm beginning to learn. And the codes that you can put in Canva, unfortunately, I can't show you that. There's a way you can place them in Canva that helps you find them easily. And things like that are what has transformed my posters from congested ideas into one thing to now just one. And the results are still the same. We still get good turnout for our meetings. Back to you.
Thank you very much. And what would you say is your greatest achievement to date?
My greatest achievement is twofold. One, asking for help. Without me being able to ask for help, I would never have known that my posters needed work. I would have just continued and maybe felt like my exco team, how do I say, or anionea, how do you say it in English? But really, they're just trying to help me out. And my second achievement is we had our second physical meeting. Being able to run the social medias, I was able to effectively bring more eyes to our social media platforms and having more outsiders ask me questions about Toastmasters and how they can join. And so far, I think we are going to be able to crush our goals. So you watch out. I'm coming for those pins. Back to you.
I think in that spirit of asking for help, there's one thing that you reached out to me specifically, and I was really happy. You had a newsletter that you did for the month of, is it for SEMA for the month of August? Or was it July?
Yes,
Are
I
you
have.
able
And
to share that, your experience with creating, conceptualizing the newsletter and actually bringing it to life? What was your journey like?
well, first of all, not having a blueprint, trying to do something new was not the best. I understood and I knew that I needed to show people what Toastmasters was all about. And the first thing, as a VPPR or as a PR person, with all the excitement, you want to run to the last item of the checklist before you understand your audience, your message, and everything else. So as I was trying to come up with everything, I found myself, let me see, almost giving up, almost crashing and burning with the whole experience, because should it be one page? Should it be 15 pages? And who am I going to give it to? Am I only going to have Toastmasters read this thing? And if an outsider was going to read it, how are they going to perceive it? So the first draft I shared with you, I remember. Actually, the first example I had, like I said, the colors were wrong, the fonts were wrong, the entire thing was blue, I think. So now to transition and try to just open my mind up to, first of all, Google. I was taught to Google. Google is your friend, to see examples of what has already been done out there and taking that as inspiration. Secondly, I cannot illiterate this any more than just to ask for help. I reached out to Mudhoni. I showed her my template and we're able to break it apart. My problem of putting so many ideas into one page was able to be, so I wish I could show you, but technology is doing that thing. We cannot show you today what it looks like, but it's really beautiful. I think I'll give you some kind of sneak peek, and then maybe I can do a demo for how I will share it on social medias, a sneak peek, and then how I will distribute it, and which avenues to use it, either through Google or through another mailing service. Yes. But the whole journey has been, I'm looking forward to having people read it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to people have read it. Let me just leave it there.
Thank you very much. And at this point, I want us to just take the same journey that Tracy actually has taken and look at some of the posters. We've been um, going through some posters that we've interacted with on the streets of WhatsApp. And we're not going to shame anybody. We want to be able to learn based on what has been shared. So at this point, I want us to go into breakout rooms, and I will give you some posters to evaluate in that breakout room, and you will just discuss overally what these posters do for you. You're going to look at it from the eyes of a guest. Because remember, our number one goal is to attract guests to clubs. So the reason we design these posters, even as much as we've said our job is not just to design posters, it does make a difference on how the posters look. So how do we evaluate the posters that I'm going to share with you? And I'm going to come to each of the breakout rooms and see whether what I'm saying has been understood. But please evaluate the poster. We all have seen how evaluations are done. Let's do the sandwich method and point out the things that worked in the poster, the things that did not work, and your recommendations. Is that clear? Can I see thumbs up to the people who are understanding? Okay, I've seen thumbs up. So I'm going to let me move you, Amboy, 1 minute to breakout room 1. And then Baron, I'm going to move you to breakout room 3 so that you can assist us with that. So please join in the breakout rooms. Uh, Baron, I'm seeing, and Lydia. Okay. 2. Has everyone joined? Okay.
It's not visible and
time was very limited. Time was very limited, but I think we are now back. There must be something that we learned out of that. Can we just hear a representative from each?
I don't know
Just
what group I was.
3 representatives. Group 1, we had Vivian, Baron, Irene, Gitinji, Carol, and who was the last person? Um, Alexis. So one person can just present from group 1 and another person from group 2 and another person from group 3. We only have 5 minutes, so please use your table topics experience to give your 1 minute feedback session on that session that we just had. Who'd like to speak from group 1? Vivian, would you like to? Okay, thank you. 1 minute.
All right, good evening once again. I was in group 1, led by District PR Manager Mutano Gitari, as well as Baron Ochola. And we had quite an interesting session going through a few posters. I believe we managed about 4. And it was interesting because the first one was easy to criticize, and then they progressively went harder and harder, but the differences were very subtle. But if you have a keen eye, and I believe one of the tenets of Toastmasters International is excellence, then you will be able to flag out those subtle changes. Mainly, they were on the brand kit colors. So some were totally off brand. Then others were the I don't know if it's purple. That color is very unique. It's a very unique purple, but it was very light, almost pinkish, as if it has been made transparent, but not quite. So unless you're very keen to understand how to move between the different color shades in terms of transparency, then you wouldn't be able to flag it out. One of our team members also learned that Toastmasters have branding in terms of fonts, because some fonts were all mixed up all through the poster. So it was a very good learning point for us. We were going to go through the other posters, and then we got caught up with time, but we also briefly discussed the contents of what is important to be in a poster. So, for example, the types of speeches that are needed, we thought that was not important for that particular poster. Could have been used for other information. I don't know if I've covered everything, Madam District PR Manager. If I
Yes.
have, somebody from my team can add on to it. I believe I only had a minute.
Yes, the next group can also share their thoughts. Group 2, please go ahead. We need a representative from group 2. I think Tracy, that was your, or was it Wamboi?
Tati is unmuted. She is giving our presentation.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, just wanted to know if I'm audible enough. So in our group, we managed to take a look at 2 pictures. And the first poster, the one which had the self-discovery theme, we saw that the green was a little bit off the color. That's not supposed to be there in the poster, but also the kind of blue that was being used, it was somewhat off. But also the font that has been used was off as well. Something else was the logo. In the logo, there was a background color, which we thought it shouldn't have been there. The photo was okay. For us, the photo was okay. And the red, the red is the brand compliant, so no problem with it. And then the second poster that we took a look on, something was wrong with the logo. we just figured that out. And then the writing was overlapping, like it went to the picture, something that was not okay. And the background was busy. So these are the two posters that we really managed to look upon. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you very much. And group 3, please select your representative.
Kevin, Rubia, do you feel? Yes, please. Thanks.
By force, we have basically covered what other groups have identified have already been discussed. We don't have anything new to add except that it would be nice to place the logos aptly. If I'm not wrong, it should be the top left and bottom right. Then clutter, trying to organize it in a way that someone can read and understand, using, of course, the correct fonts. And if possible, using time zones, especially for clubs that meet online. They may have guests from all over the world. Putting a time zone would be appropriate. Yeah, I think everything else has been discussed. Back to you.
Thank you very much. I think that with that, we've gone through a crash course in what it means for us to design brand compliant posters. And as you can see, a few of us know what it means to have a brand compliant poster, and a few of us were not aware of what a brand compliant poster is. I think at this point, I just want to again share my screen so that you can see some of the things that we are able to. You had a question, Vivian? Oh, okay. So I don't know if any of you have come across the brand manual for Toastmasters. If you have, kindly please put up your hand. This is a very important question. Have you come across the brand manual? Okay. You can use emojis, obviously, for us to be able to see. You know what has happened? My video is not showing non-video participants. That's the problem. So I can't see people who don't have their videos on. That is my challenge. Tracy, please, can you see the people's hands? I'm seeing only 1, 2, 3.
Yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people.
So there are only 5 people who have actually seen the brand manual. Is that what we're saying? Okay. What I have 6. What I have is an abbreviated version of the brand manual, but I also do want to share with you the big brand manual, so that can somebody just put the link to the bigger brand manual on the chat so that everybody can see as I share my screen on the abbreviated brand manual. Okay. So, Toastmasters is an organization that has been around for 100 years. This 2024, we are actually celebrating a whole century. And what branding means to a company that has been an organization that has been there for 100 years is that it is the most important element that people interact with. It's the first thing. Before I know Baron, before I know who he is, that he loves running marathons, the thing that I will interact with when I meet him is probably his skin color. I'll interact with his, just what I see. So that's exactly what a brand does. So you guys fall in love with brands based on how you connect with them, what it is that you perceive about the brand and why you feel that you connect with it. So it's the same thing for Toastmasters. So one of the things as VPPRs, it is our responsibility to be brand custodians. And that means that if we're using a Baron as our example of a human being who is presenting himself as a brand, then it means that we need to know who he is, what he stands for, what just everything about him. And the easiest things for us to connect with are colors and fonts. And that's why one of the things that were being pointed out with the posters that we saw is that didn't look like a Toastmasters poster, because we've seen over 365,000 clubs across the world communicate within the brand guidelines that help us to connect this organization or this particular club to the bigger Toastmasters International. And therefore, when you go onto Canva, which is one of the design platforms that are available for us, you then are asked one of the things you have to choose is what font to use, let's start with the fonts, what fonts to use. So this document has a summary of the fonts. So the brand font is Gotham. On Canva, there's an equivalent font that you can use called Montserrat. And then it is important for headings. So whenever you have a heading, like you're saying, SEMA Toastmasters Club, that is when you use the heading font, which is either Gotham or Montserrat. And not to overwhelm the people who haven't used Canva yet, we actually have a PowerPoint presentation template that you can use to create your own posters. So we understand that everybody who takes up this role has different backgrounds and experiences. A lot of people now are able to use the app called Canva to design, but those of us who haven't yet gotten there is a PowerPoint version. I think, Dr. Rubia, you might have the PowerPoint version that DD Robert created. And if you do, please put the link on the chat so that we can also share that. So these are the secondary fonts that are good for the body of the poster. So there's one called Myriad Pro, which is a brand font. And then the Canva equivalent of that is Source Sans Pro. And then the note there is Arial. Okay. Arial is a tertiary font. Tertiary means these are the primary fonts, and the secondary font, tertiary, is one that can be used if above body fonts are not available. There's also another font called Sigoi UI. Might not be pronouncing it very well, but it also may be used for the body. And the purpose of giving us these different alternatives is because it's sensitive to the fact that you could be designing on a platform that might not have the primary font that is recommended, but there's alternatives. And then there's this font called Corinthia, which is a font used for celebratory special occasions only. And there's also one called Luxurious Script. This font is also used to celebrate special occasions only. This is, for example, think of a certificate when you're designing a certificate of appreciation, or you have your 100th meeting, or something that is exciting that you want to use. So you've also been given options. The second thing that really exemplifies what a brand is the colors. So as you saw in the posters that we shared, the Toastmasters had very specific colors. The primary color of Toastmasters, as you see in many of the posters, is this color called True Maroon, and the other one called Loyal Blue. Not Royal Blue, but Loyal Blue. And then there's Happy Yellow, and there's the gray, the cool gray. So again, it gives you when to use these colors. There's a primary color, which is a cool gray, another primary color, which is a true maroon, the loyal blue, and the happy yellow for accents. So as you will see, if you have a background that is yellow, you might find that you are not following the brand guidelines, because the happy yellow is supposed to be used for accents. An accent is something that you want to highlight. For example, if you want to say meeting number 98, right? Thank you very much for putting the brand manuals in the chat. And also, I think, yeah, Kevin is also helping with the some of the things, Toastmasters of the day, some of those colloquial things that we only know as ourselves as Toast. Once you've been a Toastmaster, is when you know what the word TMOD stands for. So always put your outsider's hat on and ask yourself, do people really understand what I am saying? Then obviously the black and white are other colors that are recommended to use for text on light background, and white as a primary color or for text on a dark background. This is what I think we were talking about, gradient colors. There are some times when you want to use a gradient, or and a gradient is a version of the primary color. And you will find that there's been specifications of the actual colors, and the codes that exist here, you'll see before each of these colors, is that when you're designing on a screen, it's very easy for your eye to cheat you that you're using loyal blue. If you actually input these specific numbers is when you'll be able to have standardized the color that you are designing with what is actually on the brand manual. So you don't necessarily have to memorize the numbers, but it's important to keep checking that what you are using is actually what is recommended. And obviously, I could ask for Baron also to come in here and give a little tip on when to use gradients, because he's a designer by, I don't know if that's professionally, but he's one of the people who has been able to volunteer and put his hand up and say, if you need any help with doing your posters, please reach out. And he does amazing artwork. Baron, would you like to jump in here and just talk a little bit about gradients?
Thank you, PR and Mary. My voice is a bit off, so if I pause for a moment just to catch my breath, please bear with me. Thank you so much for the details that you've highlighted. And to jump right into it, the gradients are used to break the monotony of our flyers, our graphics. Every so often we overuse, there's something that is called creativity. I'm forgetting the other word. Creativity fatigue, that's the word. So there's a point where people look at your flyers too much, and this goes to the clubs especially that have one template that they just use every time and change the title of the meeting theme, and then the photo, and then the name. People start to look at it as wallpaper, as was earlier on pointed out. So they don't see the new details that you've shared, and the communication does not happen. So you can bring in this every so often just to mash it up a bit. For example, you usually have blue and maroon. How about this time you have blue and gray? Or perhaps behind the name of the TMOD, you have the gray as the background highlight, and then maroon pops out with the words being maroon. That's just to break the monotony. The brand manual, the bigger one, has a more comprehensive page on the, sorry, on the transparencies, and you will find them if you look at it now. Those just help you to get more creative, let things flow a bit. If you'll find a lot of the flyers have, how would I put it? Blue, and then there's no gradient to it. Maroon, and then there's no gradient to it. If you look at the one we have on the screen, the maroon is darker from one side, and from the other side, it is a bit lighter. And that is all still part of the brand, it's all still allowed. So that just gives us a few variations here and there. The key thing to point out, for example, you can work these other gradient colors in, but it's very hard to pull them off in the background. But if you can, it is allowed, especially for the gray. If you try it with the yellow, the happy yellow, I believe it's called, it becomes a bit harder because the primary colors, you'll have veered away from the primary colors quite a bit. So that is the balance I'm trying to highlight. Remember the primary colors, but then also get creative with these other ones as well. Over to you.
Thank you very much. That's quite clear. Please, if you have any questions, kindly put them in the chat and we'll be able to have a look at them. When we're talking about gradients, the second thing that people ask is transparency. And a transparency is, as it's described, when the background is the blue linear gradient and add a swash of white. So this is like just, again, making your poster stand out. And I'll give you examples of what this looks like so that you can see. This is all to make you just start the journey with us. You don't have to get to the nth place, but you can at least see that there are options, there are guidelines that have been provided so that you can explore your creativity. So for now, I will leave it at that and go directly into the second part, which is the Canva basics. I want to just confirm that all of you know how to log into Canva. Can I see by a show of hands on this? I know for the other one, yes, please go ahead, Baron.
No, I was only showing my hand.
That you have you have used Canva. Could I please see by a show of hands how many people use Canva to design? Magnetic. Watabaruku. Vivian. Who else? I'm not seeing people's hands.
I do.
Irene, yes. This is really important. Sharon, yes, I've seen your hand. I can see Alexi. Lydia, all these other people who don't use Canva to design, I want to do a very, very basic share my screen and kind of just, because even if I tell you that they are templates that have been designed and you don't know how to, use Canva, then I feel like I'll be doing an injustice. And what I want to do is, there are several videos that exist for Toastmasters. There's a whole channel called Tech Toastmasters, and Tech for Toastmasters. I think that's what it's called. I think Vivian, Tracy, you can put it on the chat so that we can actually see what that looks like. And the reason for that is because, again, there's no assumption that we make when you take up the role that you know how to use this platform. So what I'll do is I want to just go to the original, like starting from scratch, so that you can see what happens. So if you type canva.com, should I start from the beginning? If I go in and type canva.com, I've already logged in, so it will come here. I wonder if there's a way. Please allow me. What you can do is, if you really want a 101 Canva tutorial, please put your name on the chat so that I can take you through the very, very basics. What I want to do today is to just share with you what already exists as templates so that you can see that the fact that these templates that have been shared in the chat exist. So, for example, in this particular, yes, thank you very much for that, Tracy. If you go to this channel, you'll be able to get a lot more basic information. So Canva, this is how the platform looks like. And it allows you to use it for different things, business, education. It is a free platform, and that's why we use it. So the first thing that you can do once you click on the templates that have been shared is the templates that we have created for Toastmasters are, let me see where you will come. There are different templates, but the ones that specifically exists are, it's going to recent designs. Just 1 second. I had opened it. Copy of club officer. So there's I see a lot of you trying to figure out, how do I introduce our club officers? This is, if you want to do that, this is the template that you would go to. And when you click on it, as you can see, there's the name, which is an option, as you'll see in the brand manual, that you can actually use the name Toastmasters International, or use the logo, or use the one that has the 100 years. You don't have to use all of them all at once. So that is an example of a template. As you can see, it has a background image. I don't know if you can see that. It has a background image, and then it has a space for the president, the vice president, and all these people. So this you can use when you want to introduce your specific leaders, right? So that has a blue and that has a maroon. If I go back to other templates that exist, I can see there's one here that I'm sure is what has been shared. So this is an Instagram template. And when you come into this template, the first thing to do is to make a copy. So the reason for that is because a lot of people that we share with might edit the original poster, and then it will not be useful for the other people who want to use it. So you can come there and make a copy, which is the right thing for you to start with. If you make a copy, this is how it will read: copy of District 114 templates. This is the Square Instagram page. So now that you've done that, you can feel free to look at what poster do you want. So this is what we were saying about not using the word TMOD, because it is not, that's not what people know. So as you can see, this person has used this particular logo, and they have written the name of their club, they've written the venue where it is, they've written the theme, they've written the date, the time, the guest fee for more information. And this already exists. So you don't have to come in and ask yourself, what colors am I going to put in? Because the colors have been put in, the image has been put in. And if you have a specific image, you can also upload it so that you can put, the correct image that you would be looking to put in. So just in the interest of time, this was to show you the different templates that exist. And as you can see, this is a frame that has been put in. And if I want to put in a person's image, I'll just come in and drag it in there. and suddenly it will be there. If you see the font, the headings, remember the headings were being suggested, rather the brand guidelines say that it should be Montserrat, and so that's what that font is. Just trying to think what that is. There's something called a very easy way that you can use colors, and you can actually upload logos so that you don't have to keep looking for them. So for example, if I don't want to use this logo, I'll delete, and I'll put in that logo, for example. I don't think I need to put that. This is just an example of what that would look like. I'd put in the title, I'd put in the name of the person, the date, the time, and we currently have a theme that we are using as District 114, which is all in 100, and then you'd put in your email address so that people can get to know you. So I hope you're getting to see the basics of how the different templates work and how you can actually change the communication for you to say, maybe this. I've seen Rongai Toastmasters doing a lot of tips, tip of the week, something like that. So it's already, the font is already there, and put in the logo. You'd decide how to change. District 114 logo is mostly for communication that's going out to the entire district. So for your specific club, what is required is really the club logo. Yeah, so as these are just different options that are available in that template, and they are quite elaborate for you. And we're going to continue trying to make new templates so that you can actually have fun, just play around with them. I hope I've been sharing my screen, Baron. I hope I'm not. Let me stop sharing my screen. Yeah, I have. Yes. Okay. So there's questions about, yes, please go ahead as I put my number on the screen. And if you have any specific questions, please, please, please reach out to me. Yes, Vivian.
Thank you so much for that insightful presentation. There's really so much to learn on Canva that every time it's never enough to get the lessons and learning. So I sincerely appreciate it. My question would be, when I started using, and by the thank you for the templates, they saved my life. The ones in July, the ones you gave us at the beginning, even before the club officer training, they really were a good place to start for those of us who've never even heard of Canva. So I was using the templates, and I would put all the flags for the District 114. And then my predecessor was so mean about the feedback. Like, we don't need all those flags. I don't like these generic templates. Don't just put things that are always there. Put information that is useful. Remove all those. Just put the name of the club, where the venue is, bigger fonts. And I was just like, oh my God. So my question is, is there what are in a poster for a meeting? Let's start from there. We'll go to tips later. What are the must-haves other than the logo and the name of the club? And should you write club? Like, can you just leave it at Anchored Toastmasters without the club? Are those, what are the must be there in line with the branding guidelines? So the name of the club, and then the logo, and then the venue, the time. I've learned that you should even put the zone if you're doing a virtual meeting, and then perhaps the Zoom passcode and login, then the theme of the meeting. Any other thing is a good to have. It's a question, because when you don't know, you just do so innocently. You put all that stuff, and maybe perhaps it's not as useful for people who have been in Toastmasters for years.
Go ahead, Bar.
So I would like to answer to what Vivian has inquired about. Just like public speaking, when you do communication, there are very many types of communication. There's visual, there is verbal, non-verbal, and visual does not stop at us using gestures. The posters we use are visual communication as well. And in visual communication, just like any other type of communication, the audience comes first. Because, as we know that quote, the biggest challenge to communication is the confusion, or that belief that communication has happened. So for example, you're trying to get your poster out. You have, let's say, Lubowa Toastmasters. Lubowa Toastmasters what? That's what somebody will want to know, right? So it's a club, okay, right? Or if it were, let's say, a school, imagine you just said, if Lubowa Toastmasters were a school and then said Lubowa Toastmasters, is it a primary school? Is it a high school? Is it boarding? Is it day? So that is important for the people who have not interacted with this information before. I think it may be fun to, if you just give me about 3 minutes, I could jump into another concept to explain that, then I come back. So when you do public relations, I know our PR manager will agree with me. There are different types of publics. There's the internal public, the external public, then there are the non-publics, and then there's a fourth type of public. So the internal is basically people who are already within the organization. For example, Toastmasters are internal publics. You find it easier to explain Toastmasters to them because they know what it is. Non-publics are people who know about Toastmasters, but they are not engaged in Toastmasters. I mean, sorry, that's the external rather. They know about Toastmasters, but they are not engaged in Toastmasters. Non-publics, I think it's called that, do not know anything about Toastmasters, never heard of it, right? And then there are those people who have heard of it and who don't really care. Even if they heard about it, doesn't matter to them. So if I even look at a poster of Lubowa Toastmasters and then I see the theme there and the word theme is not there, I will not know what is that. Or when I see the entire poster and then it doesn't say open to public somewhere in one of the corners, then I will not know, is this a private event? Maybe they're communicating to their people. Or if it is a free to all event, and then I don't put free to all, will I blame somebody for saying, I thought it was for paying and I didn't have the money, so I didn't come? So you have to communicate. When you're communicating, now we have brought it back. It's that question of what information does the audience need to make the decision that they are coming to this meeting? And then to take it a step further, what would captivate this audience? And that is now where in design, the element or principle of hierarchy comes in. When you look at all the posters that we send out, what is the first piece of information that lands on anybody's eye? Usually it is the theme, right? Because we're trying to capture people with that. And that is what is unique from last meeting to this meeting, next meeting. It's usually the theme. And then we have the name of the club. And then we have the name of the Toastmaster of the day and the date. And if you look at the information, you will see that the sizing is also according to that level of importance. What do people need to see first? Imagine the name of the club was the same size as the contacts of the VPPR at the bottom, right? But then again, imagine you sent out all the information in perfect arrangement without the information about the VPPR, and somebody wants to follow up and ask. So do you see how all of them are important, but just the way you have them in the graphic is what makes the difference. So you have to, I wouldn't give a precise answer. If I was to say what do I include, I usually have the meeting number such that people know that this is not our first rodeo. Then I can have open to public, offer to all if that is relevant. The club name and logo, because people find it easier to identify with an image. So I have the logo there. Then I will have a photo of the Toastmaster of the day with their name, the theme obviously above, with their name, what role do they play. In Toastmasters, usually the only titles considered, if the person is a Toastmaster, the only titles considered are Toastmasters titles. So it's only when we have an external guest that we can put their role, and that would be important. And then the other details, for example, the location, you have to make sure the date is a very big thing somewhere there. Somebody can't look and say, when is this? Somebody might be available on that day and they don't care about the theme, but they're available on that day. And that could be what brings them to the meeting. So those are the different things to look at. Look at what is important to the audience and how important is it for them to make the decision to join you. So that is pretty much it. I hope I've done that justice. Back to you, PR Manager.
Thank you very much, Baron. I think you've done that justice. Irene, please feel free to unmute.
All right. Just as Baron has said, when you posting your poster, there's a visual representation. So my question is in regards to the photos. Are there any rules, specific rules, like the way we have the theme color and all? Are there specific rules when it comes to when you're creating your poster? Are there specific rules about the photos that you need to use? Yeah.
Baron, go ahead.
Always happy to support. So about that, if you look at the brand manual, we have, before we even get into fonts and anything else, even before the logo, there is the tone. What is the tone that we are trying to communicate? And the tone for Toastmasters is friendly, supportive environment, engaging. So there are things that we avoid, like landscapes, animals, children. We avoid those. And if it is a social event, that's when you can put those. If it's a social, you can put those, but you don't put the logo. So back to it, use engaging photos. Use a photo of somebody in front of an audience, or an audience that is engaged, or even just a Toastmaster of the day, but with a very good professional photo. Those are the types of things, because you're trying to communicate that, hey, we are happy here, we are engaging, we are vibrant, we are lively, and that is what would work. One point I would say is that we have to be conscious of culture. That's it, conscious of culture. You are in Uganda, you are in Kenya, you are in Tanzania. Majority of the people, I would say 99% or even more, are of a Black race, right? And then you will share your post about public speaking and it's a white person. That will not add up, right? So the target audience will not connect with that. So that is important to look at. The same going for if you were in Europe, let's say, and then you would have to balance because now they have both races. Not both, but a variety of races. So that is what to look at. But also it's highlighted more in the brand manual. Irene, what do you think about that?
That's well answered. Thank you for that.
Thank you. There are also some photos that Toastmasters International releases for us to use, but like Dr. Kevin said earlier on, some links are broken. They must be doing the transfer that they're supposed to do to the new system. Because I tried today and some of the links were broken. Then you can also request from within the district or from the division conferences or from meetings. You can use all those posters because whenever we attend Toastmasters meetings, we're supposed to read out a disclaimer, and that disclaimer allows us to use all the content that has been used in that meeting for publicity purposes if we need to. I see Vivian has said, I didn't think landscapes are enough for social event posters. For social event posters, you can use landscapes. The only thing is that for socials, oh, sorry. Sorry. The only thing is for socials, you would have to remove the logo. You only have the logo if it's meetings. I see our PRM has dropped off, must be network, but the floor is still open for any interactions, or if anybody would like to make any additions as well. Yes, Dr. Kevin.
Thank you. Mine is a suggestion to please comment on consent to use someone's photo on a poster. Is it mandatory? Is it good practice as a VPPR to ask for consent, or as long as someone has given their photo, that's already consent? Yes, please comment on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It is a contentious issue because, according to the guidelines of Toastmasters International, by attending our meetings, both virtually and physically, you are giving consent for us to use the material that we captured during those meetings. Except a lot of times we start our meetings without reading that disclaimer. So that means that the people who attend those meetings actually do not consent. But I wouldn't be able to rule as a judge would. But what I would say is that you can ask somebody for their permission on a friendly basis, the Toastmasters way. Hey, is it okay if I use your photo for this? And that would suffice since it's within Toastmasters. For example, if you have a contest coming up and you have a very good photo that was taken of Toastmaster X, you can reach out to them and say, hey, can I use your photo for this? If it's outside Toastmasters, that is different. You would have to agree with them on an arrangement. Dr. Kevin, does that answer it?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So that is a call to action to each of us to talk to our clubs about the disclaimer. I've seen your hand, Vivian. Just a second. I would like to remind everybody that Tracy, Toastmaster Tracy, VPPR of SEMA, has been sharing links in the chat. So feel free to check them out. They are very important. I have seen Tech for Toastmasters before. There are also podcasts where people discuss different issues about Toastmasters or within Toastmasters, as well as the podcast. If anybody here has ever listened to the Toastmasters official podcast, they will attest to how much value it is. So please find that on the Toastmasters site. Yes, Vivian, over to you.
Mine was just to add on Dr. Rubia's question on consent. Now, when you go to social media, for example, LinkedIn, and somebody outside Toastmasters reposts a post, does the initial consent that is limited to within Toastmasters still count? If somebody can request, pull down, I don't like that it has been reposted by non-Toastmasters. Could you say that you had consented?
Yes, we could, because we are still using it for Toastmasters publicity. And that having somebody else share it to their audience, to their network, is good for us. So it still stands. It still stands. Sometimes we would have to pull it just for goodwill, and then we'd make changes, but it still stands. Our host is back. I'm not sure if she's already set up.
Thank you, Baron.
Thank you so much. I was going to make a quip here when I asked Dr. Kevin, while I hand over to you, let me just make the quip. When I asked Dr. Kevin to comment, and then he started by saying, mine is not a question. Some people do that in conferences. So mine is not a question. I just wanted to say that we didn't get tea. So just a funny one to break the ice. Back to you, Toastmaster Mary.
Okay, thank you very much. I just have to imagine my nice smiling face. My internet is giving me a challenge, so I'm going to continue on my phone. So if you can just go to the slide before, I have put in the resources that have been shared on the group, so that you can actually see the brand manual, how it looks like, the abbreviated one that I shared, and then the Canva design that I shared, and the PDF. This is worth looking at. The resources there are worth looking at. Please, we'll send this document for you so that you can have a look. Yeah, so I think that wraps up the first part of our presentation today. And as we transition, because we have very little time, I want us to just, again, this is a very interactive session. I want to check how many people have seen this invitation to share their posters with us for a chance to win amazing prizes. Please, let's see your hands up if you've seen this opportunity. Well done, Wanjiko. I'm assuming nobody else has seen this chance. Vivian, well done. Who else? Okay, so I noticed that very few people have actually seen this challenge that was started, and we were challenged by District Director Robert Karanja to, as opposed to just policing the negative things about posters, could we also reward the posters that the people, the VPPRs, were putting a lot of work and withstood all those negative comments and have been able to design posters that are so exemplary. And the opportunity, this is going to go on for the whole year, and there are going to be monthly awards. So this Best Poster of the Month initiative is designed to recognize the best flyers and posters each month. So we encourage you to showcase your creativity in visual communications for all your Toastmasters PR campaign. So please submit your entry by uploading to this particular link. And if you don't manage to do it, you can also send an email to d114toastmasters@gmail.com between the 1st and the 25th of each month, because there are judges available to look at these posters and decide which is the winning poster. So today we will be unveiling our winning posters, and the winning prize is that each of these posters will be publicized in the district social media pages, and the VPPRs will they will be awarded a $10 gift card from the Toastmasters International store. I don't know if you guys know that there's an international store that you can get amazing goodies from, and that will be shipped over for you for free. So the success stories will be shared at each and every VPPR Hangout, which we have at the end of each month. So on the next slide, we'll show you yet another, so each club will also receive something amazing. They will receive, they're called like little customized business cards, and I'm hoping that I can show you what they look like in the presentation. So drum rolls, please, as we go to starting from the third poster, the top three. We'll unveil the top three posters that were judged, and the next slide unveils who the third person is. Go to the next slide. The third poster is from Almasi Toastmasters. As you can see, yes, I don't know, Vivian, are you putting your hand up?
I was clapping. Sorry, I was cheering like this.
Yes. Drum rolls. Please, let's appreciate the VPPR for Almasi Toastmasters for getting their poster in. Again, it is very important that you submit. I'll show you another category of posters that were submitted on behalf of the VPPRs, but they didn't get a chance to submit themselves. So it's a shame, but we want to encourage, they could have actually won if they had submitted themselves. Let's go to poster number 2, top 2. Poster number 2 is from Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters Club. Well done, VPPR. Vivian, your poster was actually selected, and Vivian didn't even, I don't know if she knew about poster of the month, but I kept seeing her posters and telling her, why don't you submit these posters for poster of the month? You could win. And just as last minute Kenyan, she managed to submit it in time for it to be considered, and it was considered. You made it to the top 3, so you will definitely receive your gift card and some publicity around this poster. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the top winning poster of the month is from Kampala Sunrise Toastmasters Club. I really hope that there's somebody here from Kampala who can share this good news. This poster received hands down the best poster of the month of August 2024. And we are so, so, so proud of Kampala Sunrise Toastmasters Club. I don't know who the VPPR is, but please let them reach out to me so that they can win, they can get their award for their club, which is the business cards. And I think you can all agree with me that this poster is simply beautiful. Simply beautiful. Everything that you are asking, Vivian, in terms of arranging the information, it's clean, it's simple, and that's why the judges actually came out with this. On the next slide, I don't know if there's a next slide. Yeah, so this is what the winning club gets. This is a customized 100 physical business size cards that will allow you to actually invite members to your club. So as opposed to just saying welcome to Toastmasters, it will be welcome to Kampala Sunrise Toastmasters Club. And it will have this information about who you are, how it is easy to join Toastmasters, and win a tool for publicity for your club. And the next slide, we have posters that were never submitted. Can you imagine? These posters were never submitted. Look how beautiful these posters. They would have actually made it to the top 3 if they were submitted. So please inform the other VPPRs that they can participate in this for a chance to win a personal gift card from Toastmasters International store and for their clubs to win. So everybody wins and we get to achieve our goals. We love this one for Kilele Toastmasters Club. I think it is so innovative, so innovative. And now the other thing about Lerai, the Lerai Toastmasters Club, I see that they have their own logo. While this poster was really beautiful, one of the things that we try to dissuade is to have competing logos. So it's very important that you have the primary Toastmasters International logo. And if you have a club logo, let it appear on other materials. In fact, it's actually not encouraged for you to use your club logo. The name Lerai Toastmasters Club is enough by itself. So that's just a comment in case somebody was asking. And as we wind down, we've been so grateful for your participation. I'd like to invite Wamboi, who started us off, to just help us to finish this meeting off and give us some closing remarks. Over to you, Wamboi.
Thank you so much, Mutano. Tracy, could you please share the link to the Google form we have created a Google form here to get your insights on how you felt today's meeting went. We will be sharing a separate link on the WhatsApp group for people who did not attend this meeting. So if you would like to give your feedback, please ensure that you open this link on another tab, or feel free to reach out to either me, Tracy, or Mutanu for the link. In addition, Mutanu shared that we should also be looking at what other people are doing, and I would like to give us all some homework. This week, take a look at what other VPPRs are doing. This could be on social media, this could be on the WhatsApp channel. Take a look at the posters or something about them that has piqued your interest, that you like, that you would like maybe to, that has served as inspiration for you in what you are doing. And then on Friday, I will share a question on the WhatsApp chat about everyone appreciating a fellow VPPR. And this is where we will be able to share these wonderful things that we have seen. So thank you so much for joining, and thank you for staying this long. And over to you, Mutanu.
Thank you very much. I think we have had such a fantastic time. We'll be honored for you to share your feedback so that we can improve on our next Hangouts. And I want to invite you to our next Hangout. Remember, we meet on the last Monday of every month. So in September, the last Monday is going to be on, I think 31st, if I am not wrong. It's going to be, sorry, on 30th, Monday 30th. That's when our next meeting is. So please clear out your schedule. I know there are some clubs that meet on Mondays, but for that particular one, it's going to be on the 5th Monday. I know that we have more people. And another thing we're trying to do is to encourage each one of us to participate in these sessions. Today we were led by Wamboi from Karen Toastmasters and supported by Tracy Momu from Sema Toastmasters Club. We would love for the next one to have Ethiopia represented, Burundi represented, and I'll be reaching out to you to see whether you can join us in this VPPR Hangouts so that you can also learn a thing or two on how to run these meetings. So thank you very much for a fantastic evening. I would like to call this meeting, I would like to officially close this meeting, our first VPPR Hangout, and call it a success. Bye, guys.
It was a great success. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Appreciate it.
Well done to the winners. I will be reaching out to you directly.
I can share the form in our group, yes? Hello?
Yes, yes, I was just removing everybody. Oh my God, guys, we did it. I can't believe
it went, imagine, you did great. How did I answer your questions? Was it satisfactory?
Yes,
You know,
completely.
when
You
Canva
did such a
didn't,
good job. I was happy.
okay, thank you. When Canva didn't open, I kind of blanked. So, have you stopped the recording? Recording is still going on. It went well. It went really well. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Hey, yeah. Wait. Wow. Wait, I can't believe it's a wrap. Let me ask Nani if she's joining. I don't know if we should do a quick run through. Or should I just call on WhatsApp? Let me call on WhatsApp.
You call on WhatsApp? Yes. Actually, this would have just been better because I'm still using my bundles. If she,
Oh,
I don't know if she'll join. If she can join from here, it will be easier. Yeah.
all
Come
right,
on, honey.
yeah.
Not money woman. Shh.
Are you in the same room with Wambui?
No.
Oh God, I can't believe it. What? Let me try and call her 1 second. It says her line is busy. Maybe we should I don't know.
Okay. We
Anyway.
can just have a group call. It's okay. And WhatsApp later.
Yeah, I think we can just debrief on or we can look for another time to debrief. Probably
No,
if you had some
she's
other people.
yeah, she's on her exco meeting.
Okay, no worries.
Bye.
All right. Okay,
Good
bye.
night.
Thank
You're welcome.
All right.